Do you know that you can have an income and still be trapped? A lot of people tend to think that just because they have an income or they have a job, they are safer or they're safe, you know. They don't think there could be any form of traps that would hinder their growth financially. Okay. So today I'm here to talk about some of these income traps and give you a few solutions. Stay with me. Hi, I'm Miss Muithathi and welcome to my channel. I talk about personal finance, women empowerment, life without pretending that is like everything is easy. If this is your first time here, please like, subscribe, comment, share, and don't forget to turn on notifications bell so that you're notified every time I upload another new video. Now, income traps. I know you would never think of putting income and then the word trap together. But in reality, well, there's income traps. And a lot of people fall for them without them knowing. But you just keep wondering as years go by, months go by. You're wondering what is happening. Why are you not growing? Huh? Or maybe even you can pinpoint what the problem is, but you really don't know how to go about it, how to solve it. So I'll give you a few traps, income traps. Maybe you can check to see if you fall under any, and I'll also give you like a solution on what to do about that trap. Okay, I hope this helps someone out there. Number one trap is you only have one job. Okay, that one job that gives you that one income, that's what you rely on. And most of the times this job takes up all of your time. So this is me saying you're trading time, your time, for money. That's what we call the wage slave trap. A lot of people don't understand that we work to buy more time. Okay, but most just work for the money. Now, problem is, it has come to an extent where you only earn when you work. This is the income trap. Meaning, if you don't work, you don't get any money. So God forbid something happens to you. God forbid you fall sick or that income stops. Then it means when that income stops, you stop. That's a trap. That's a big problem. But not to worry. Here is a solution. I made a video yesterday about why a lot of people don't have like second income. You should go watch it. Okay. So a solution to this would be finding a second source of income. Okay. It can be in something passive. For example, selling digital products. Okay. Becoming an affiliate marketer. Just find a way. You can build 1, 2, or 3 more income streams. Something that can just be giving you extra money. Even on holidays, there's money coming in. And just in case you're fired, you're still safe. So it can look like you having a job, the 9 to 5 or something like that. And then you selling something like vegetables or fruit juice on weekends. Or if you have a car, you can rent it out to someone who's in need. You don't really have to start big. You can start from where you are. Okay? Another income trap a lot of people fall into is spending more money than they earn. This is where you get a raise, yeah, and then you go spend all of it. For instance, you buy a more expensive phone, or you move to a more expensive neighborhood, or now you start feeling like the car you have is smaller, you need to change it to, you need to get a bigger car. That is spending more than you earn, spending more money than you have. And then at the end of the day, your savings stay at zero. Your savings never grow. So when you were employed 5 years ago or 10 years ago, you're still the same person, the same place after all that time. Here is a solution to that. When you get a raise, lock that raise. Sometimes don't even think about it. Forget about it. Put that money aside. Just assume you didn't even get a raise. When you start earning more, you can save something like 50% of whatever you're getting. Immediately. As soon as you get it. You don't even have to think about it. That should just come automatically. And in case you had already fallen into that trap, you can start now to start saving something, putting something aside. It is okay if you live like you're still getting the old salary for at least 1 or 2 more extra years. It's not every time you adjust when things adjust. Sometimes it's nice to just be lukewarm and observe things first. Okay? Yeah, give it time. Get a raise. Don't change anything about yourself yet. Let everything just stay in place the way you used to live your life. You survived anyway, right? So avoid that trap. Trap number 3 is you find that you don't have an emergency fund. You work every day, you've worked for months, years, but still you have no emergency fund. You have no money that you've ever thought to put aside just in case an emergency happens. So this means a sudden sickness or a funeral or you name it. You know this life, you can't really tell what will happen tomorrow or the next minute. Yeah, it could be an accident. You know, there's hospital bills. Or if you have a car breakdown. Hey, cars are not cheap. And now, if you've been spending all your money, if you've not been saving, it means when these problems arise, there's a high chance that you'll start borrowing money. And because you need this money haraka haraka, you don't have time, of course you'll go for the institutions or platforms that will give you money, or you'll be able to borrow, but it will come with a very high interest. You see? You start finding yourself in these traps. Yeah, it might solve that problem for you at that time, but when you sit down and do the math, it's expensive. And some people, once they start that, they're always into that cycle of borrowing. You start borrowing to pay this. Now you're in debt here. When they start following up on it, you borrow somewhere else to pay that. So you find yourself you find yourself, if you're not careful, in a cycle of borrowing to pay, and you're always paying with interest. That interest, if you do that even in 1 year, that interest alone is a lot of money that you would have even put aside in an emergency fund. Anyway, a solution for that is to save fast before spending. Okay? As soon as you get money, if it's a business you're running, as soon as you get money, if it's you're employed, as soon as your salary lands, you save fast. And then what remains is what you work with. People tend to do the opposite. Spend, buy things, pay for bills, and then whatever remains, they save. No, that's wrong. That's not how you're supposed to go about it. You save first, then whatever remains, that you can spend. You can save something like 10% in like money market funds, in a separate Mpesa account, whatever. I saw Mpesa also has something like a fixed savings or something, or in a bank account. You figure out what works best for you, but just make sure you have some savings somewhere. And once you start saving, don't touch it. Because there's people who save. Even me, some time back, there was a time I would save and still touch them. So when people are asked, are you saving? Yes, I'm saving. But problem is, a tiny problem would, pop up. And I would go for my savings. So at the end of the day, you would find me, I'm saving, but I don't have any savings. So don't do that. Save and do not touch your savings. Okay? Another income trap is expensive debt. You do know not all debt is the same. There's good debt and there's bad debt. And there's extremely expensive debt, of course, which falls under bad debt. Okay? And this can look like using something like Fuliza, these mobile app loans, yeah? Or finding yourself going for Shylocks. The moment you're trading on that, you're trading on dangerous waters. Okay? Because those are some of examples of very expensive debts. Any mobile app loan is an expensive debt. And this is because interest eats all your future income. All the money that comes into your pockets will be going forward. You'll be using it to pay these interests for these platforms, for these whatever's companies, because it's people's companies. So you're making money for other people. Me, if there's anything I fear is debt, bana. Where? Even if it's good debt, I need to think, sit down, calibrate, and you just need to be very careful when it comes to debt. Debt is not it's not something to play with. So a solution to that is to kill all expensive debt. If you have any debt, your next salary ikikuja, ebu clear all of it first. Before you think of anything else, before you think of those shoes, before you think of nini, no, if you have to sacrifice something for you to clear those expensive debts, sacrifice it. Okay? You'll be in a better place after you've done that. So this means stop using Fuliza and mobile loans. Wachana nazo kabisa. And if you have a lot of debt, you can use the snowball method. Start by paying off the small debt first. Ile yenye unaona you can solve it today. Solve it today. The one you feel you can solve it in a week, solve it in a week. I'm not telling you to just counter-attack all of them at once. No. Use the snowball method. There was a video I made about using, tackling your debt using the snowball method. I think that was last year or something. And you can replace this with things like chama or table banking. Okay? That's the only way you can avoid or you can protect yourself from expensive debt. Okay? Another income trap a lot of people find themselves into is working so hard for too little. You're giving it your best for peanuts. You have a skill that you've mastered when in normal, but you're out here charging like everybody else. You're an expert at your skill, but you're charging the same price as someone who is in the entry level. You see, that's you doing injustice for yourself. That doesn't make any sense at all, but you're doing it. Why? Reasons best known to you. Because you doubt yourself. You don't believe that if you charge your price, you're gonna get clients. My friend, charge your price properly and you'll get expensive clients. Not everyone wants cheap things out here. You'd be very surprised. There's people who will, wakisikia kwanza how cheap you are, they fear. They feel like you're not professional enough. So charge your worth. A lot of people are underpricing whatever their products or their services because they're afraid of losing, the risk of losing a customer or losing a job. Don't let that kind of fear rule you. Otherwise, you'll never make it. It's a trap. That's an income trap that is being led by fear. So the solution to this is to raise your prices. Yeah. And if you feel like if you raise your prices, you lose your clients, then you're targeting the wrong clients. It's as simple as that. Maybe you need to move to someplace else, Maybe you need to move your business someplace else. This is to say, if you're a tailor, if you're a fundi, if you're a plumber, if you're a house help, or even a freelancer, never be afraid to ask what it is that you feel that you deserve. Because you know what you bring to the table. Okay? And stop comparing yourself to your neighbor or someone next to you. We are all different in our own way. Don't be afraid to ask for something like 20% more. If you feel they need to add that 20%, ask for it. But it will never happen if you don't open your mouth and ask for it. If you don't know your worth. Yeah? This is how you take charge of your life. Okay? If you have to prove your work, you can show your client your past work. Okay? Because sometimes people will ask, why should I give you this extra 20%? If you have proof, show it. If you have people who can recommend you, please use them. But don't just sit there and expect things to just happen naturally. It will never happen. You'll always remain in the same place for years. So please speak up. The market respects confidence. So you better be very confident out here. Which brings me to the next income trap, is when you don't negotiate or change jobs when it's necessary. You feel kabisa unafinyika, unanyanyasika, but you won't negotiate your salary or look for a better job. You're just there, trapped. You live your life miserable, hating everyone and everything, just because you won't speak up, you won't negotiate your salary. And even if you don't want to negotiate your salary, you're not out here looking for another job. That's another trap. You find yourself staying in a company for 5 years plus, more than 5 years, 10 years, giving your best in a company that doesn't even appreciate you. Or you don't even feel appreciated. They don't see your worth. Or even if they're seeing it, they just want to use you. They don't want to pay you what you deserve. And now companies will take advantage of the fact that you won't speak up. That's more profit on their side. So you're the one who's losing. Problem is, the company has new hires and they are paid more than you. And you're the same level, maybe of education or experience in something. But the new hires will be paid according to the market. Because maybe they did the research. And you're left there. You're the only person who's underpaid. You've never had those discussions. And that's why sometimes they don't want you people to be too close to each other. Because they know when you start... that's why people preach at don't tell people how much you earn. That's the only way you'll know you're being underpaid. Because you see your colleague is being paid double of what you receive and you're doing the same thing. So it's very good to always check market rates and to ask questions. Negotiate. Ask. That's the only way you can receive whatever it is. Only if you ask. People out here are not generous the way you think. Until they'll just come out of the blue and just hand you a 20% increase. Keep dreaming. It won't happen. So the solution to this is start applying for new jobs every 12 months. After every 1 year, look for another job. Always be hungry for greener pastures. Stop being content with something, most especially when you know it's not making ends meet for you. You're just not comfortable. Be on the lookout. Even if you're happy with your job, always look for something. There's always something good outside there. There's always something better. So even if you're content, whether you shouldn't be content, especially in this industries. Be always on the lookout. And that's why it's good if you have like a LinkedIn account. That's where you can look for jobs. Make sure your account or your profile is up to date. Yeah. And your account is active. Or you can use known sites. There's so many out there. Yeah. Switch something like 20 to 30% raise. Don't give up. You might apply severally. Well, they decline. But eventually, one of them will say yes. Just the same way where you're working, they said yes. But keep an open mind. If you can't look for a job, then you better have the guts to ask your boss for a raise, using your work as proof. Okay? Of course, you can't just go ask for a raise and you don't have proof for any improvement and stuff like that. Okay? Yeah. There's always a solution to everything. So either look for another job or have the guts to ask for a raise. Negotiate. Another income trap is having money sitting idle. You have money, you've worked, yes. You have money, but it's just there. A lot of people fall into this trap. I have friends, relatives who do this. Like, all you do is work, and then you just put your money is just sitting somewhere. So when you get sick, you just remove some amount of cash, you go use it, you just think, I'll go make more. So most of your money is just sitting there. For example, your savings are in a tin somewhere. We've seen even at the end of the year. People online, they're coming up at you, let's break down this tin, or let's open this tin. I've been saving from January. And then they open up the tin. And then they remove all the cash they've been saving since January. That means that is money that has been sitting idle for a whole year. 365 days. I'm talking about you. Okay? That's a trap. You've fallen into a trap, but you're too blind to see that it's a trap. Others hide their money in mattresses. These things happen, right? Others in low interest accounts where inflation eats its value. All those people I've mentioned, they fall under the same category. You need to do something about it. Okay? Move idle money. Stop putting money in one place in a car too. No. Move it. Put some of it into a savings account or something like that. A saving account that pays interest. Or buy shares that pays dividends at the end of the year. Ebu imagine now this person who puts all this money in a tin or a mtungi. If they had put this money, like if they had bought shares, stocks and shares, at the end of the year, their money would still have been there and they would have been paid dividends, right? Or buying, or investing in money market funds or index funds. There's so many places nowadays in 2026. There's so many places you can invest your money rather than putting it to sit idle. These things are super access. Even in Mpesa, there's Mali, there's, I don't know, there's all these things are accessible. As long as you have a smartphone, you can install these things and just, it's just within 5 minutes, you've registered yourself and you can deposit this money wherever you are. You're not limited. There's also KCB Mpesa savings account. They also have, yeah? Yani, there's plenty of options, unlike those ones you're choosing, of allowing your money to just sit idle. You can also choose like a fixed deposit account. In other scenarios, it's better if you join a SACCO. But join a SACCO where you know several people. Problem with SACCOs is when you want to get a loan, they need like 10 people. I don't know how many people to sign for you. So if your money is there, if you join a SACCO where you don't know anyone, it can be a problem. Okay, so look for a SACCO where you know several people who can sign for you. Okay, in case you need a loan. But it's good if you save in a SACCO, if you put your money in a SACCO and let it grow. Okay, stop putting money in tins and in mattresses and in weird, weak accounts. Don't do that. Okay. Another income trap is falling into these get rich quick schemes. That is one of the most dangerous things you can do with your money. Okay? Putting your money in a pyramid scheme. These new companies, you hear a company, you've never heard of it before, and then you go put your money inside there with funny returns, fake promises, unbelievable returns. Ulisikia wapi? All those are pyramid schemes. And nowadays, they're very conniving. They go to extremes where they even put up very fancy offices in very fancy places. In Kenya, for instance, you see they have offices in places like Westlands. Until you invest your money, and then one day they disappear. You go looking for them in those offices and they've moved. And then you come here complaining, because then again, you didn't do your due diligence, right? You go online, you hear about these forex trading gurus. Someone showing off their car, showing off the kind of place they live, their lifestyle. And then you decide, this is where I want to put my money. How naive can you be? Story for another day. Some people, they fall into this trap of crypto promises. Until they pay you 50% monthly. Mama, and you believe that. You believe that. So what do? You put your money there. And then you end up losing everything. Sasa, na mulisema huruma ni estate. When these things happen to you, what do you want us to do? The only thing we can do is listen and just look at you with, like, puppy eyes. Do I even have puppy eyes? Okay. That's what happened. Because that was you following a get-rich-quick scheme. That's a trap. And a lot of people are still falling into that trap. Up to now, up to date. Of which sometimes you can't even blame these people because they keep coming up with new ideas. The smarter you are, hata wakishikwa, they come up with better strategies. It's sad. Sad but true. But, as I said, there's a solution to everything. So a solution to this is to ignore quick money promises. Stop being enticed by these things. Stop being too hungry, too thirsty that you would fall for anything. That as long as you're promised something, you've chucked money, umetoa pesa. As long as it sounds, as long as someone has a sweet tongue, wa umeingia box. All I need to come up with is a few lies and a smooth tongue, and I got you. You need to be very careful. You need to be very worried. And the problem is, when people know you're that naive, they will use you. They will take everything away from you. And you'll have no one else to blame except you and your naiveness. Because, let's face it, let's be honest, you're naive. So walk around knowing, whatever it is that people are telling you, whatever is out there, if the deal is too good, think twice, okay? It's a trap. If it sounds too good, it's a trap. Don't fall for it. Instead, as I said, buy things like government bonds, buy shares, or invest in a circle. Nowadays, there's things like rates. So there's so many other places, legit places, you can put your money. The returns might not be as high as you would expect, but it's better. It's better kuliko the sweet lies you hear. The lies sound like music into your ears, but you end up losing everything. So these ones, the circle, the MMFs, the stocks and shares, they are slow, but they're safer. Okay? Go for that. Stop being sold all these lies. They know what we want to hear. They know all of us, we are struggling. Everyone wants better. You're not the only person who wants better. You're not the only person who wants to make money. We all want to make money. We all want to live a good life. And a good life most of the time comes with money. But now, don't be too naive to give all your money to someone who was just good at kukuingiza box. Who was good at convincing you or telling you what it is that you want to hear. Okay? Be worried about these things. Last but not least, another trap is earning only from active work. This is to say, these are individuals who don't have side businesses or side hustles. There's nothing on the side that's bringing more money, even a shilling or a dollar in their pockets. So you'll find this person, they have no shop. They're not selling anything on the side. They're not doing it even hata kama ni farming. They have poultry or they're lima in Dania. They have nothing. No Mpesa agent income. Even if they have land back at home, they're not renting it to get some money. So there's no land rent. They're just there. One income. One income, which is active work. This is very dangerous because when you get sick, you're done for. So to solve that, you need to start a small side hustle that can bring cash flow, even if it's something small. Okay? You can be something like a digital agent. There's people you can find something you can sell online. Nowadays there's TikTok. It supports business. You can sell clothes or beauty products on TikTok live, or there's always something you can do on the side. You can bake on weekends. There's so many things someone can do. Okay? If you have like a bike, you can do deliveries on weekends or after work. You can I don't know, transport people. If you have a small car, on weekends you can do Uber or Bolt. I don't know. It really depends on where you are in life and what you have, because it's also about using what you have. If you have land somewhere, you can rent it out to some farmers. Yeah. If you have space somewhere you can do poultry, do it. This is making use of everything that you have. Okay. Stop just relying on that active work at the thing you do with your hands and your time. No. Think outside the box. Don't aim so big at first. Start small. Problem is, most people, when you tell them about a side hustle, they are thinking that it is something big, like a hardware or a big business. No, that's where you go wrong. Okay? Baby steps. Start small. Let it grow naturally or organically, as they say. Okay? And the last income trap is thinking you have reached your limit. Meaning, you capping yourself. This can look like you saying, I only have a certificate. You've capped yourself. Or, Kikuyus are the ones who are good in business. My tribe is not good in business. That's you capping yourself. Umejifungia, umejiekea limit. Ceiling yako ni hapo. Ati huwezi pita hapo. You need to change your solution. Change your mindset. Because you can't be walking out here thinking things like that. Or thinking, according to what I've heard and what we believe, this is how much our people earn. So I can't earn more than that. My friend, change the way you think. Change the way you look at things. Stop limiting yourself. Stop capping yourself. Remember, you are who you think you are. If you think yourself small, you will be small. Ask yourself sometimes, what defines you? What defines who you are? So here's a solution to that. Upskill. You can upgrade your skills for free. Okay? That's what I'm saying. The beauty about these moments that we're living in, there's even free courses out here. Okay? If you have internet, if you have, a gadget, you can just go online and you can learn something. If not, you can go, like to workshops. There's people who out here are willing to teach other people. Not everyone is stingy out here, imagine. There's people willing to hold your hand and walk with you. But you have to put yourself out there to beat these people. Because they won't find you in your house or in your comfort zone. As I always say, be hungry for more. Be hungry for more knowledge. Even if you have a certificate, let that not cap you. People have done a lot with certificates. There's people who have diplomas and degrees and they are not helping them. Zimekaa tu kwa nyumba. Skills are the ones that are helping them. Nowadays, there's things like YouTube. Like me, I've learned a lot on YouTube. If something bothers me or it bugs me, or I feel like I'm stuck somehow about something, the first place I'll check if I'll find a solution is on YouTube. And most of the time, like 80% of the time, I'll find a solution there. There's also free university courses online. It also depends on how you search for these things. There's also local tech hubs. But how interested are you? How curious are you to find these things? Or to find these people? You can learn digital marketing. You can learn something like basic coding. This is just writing words and numbers and stuff like that. You can learn bookkeeping. There's so much in this world you can learn. And nowadays, you can learn how to use AI with just your gadget. If you have a laptop, if you have whatever it is that you have. Yeah? My dear, your ceiling is not your tribe or your peepers. Actually, I would advise you not to have a ceiling. They used to say the sky no longer is the limit. We are going beyond the sky. So why are you limiting yourself? Wacha kujidharau hivyo. It's not even other people who are limiting you, you're doing it yourself. And then you come complain here, baadaye. No. There's different types of problems. We can help when the limits are beyond you, but if the limits are within you, you gotta solve that by yourself. So let me give you a quick action for this month. Okay, you can start by writing all debts that you have. Okay, big and small, all of it. Write all debts you have and all incomes. It doesn't matter even if it's how much. If it's a small income, it's a big income, write it down. So. Number 2, stop one habit. For example, fuliza or betting. For ladies, impulse shopping. At least stop one habit. This month. 3, save something every day, even if it's 100 shillings. I won't tell you to go and save 1,000 shillings. Because I know we are not politicians' children and whatever. We come from different backgrounds. And I know we have responsibilities and life has to continue. There's bills to pay. So, start small. You can do this by saving hata kama ni 100 Kenya shillings a day. Okay? Because I don't like assuming that because I can get 1,000 Kenya shillings a day, that everybody else can get that 1,000 Kenya shillings. Okay, but if you can be able to get 1,000 Kenya shillings a day to save, you do that. If you can get 500, you do that. I am not limiting anyone. If you can also get 100 Kenya shillings or 50 shillings to save a day, you do that. Okay, we're all different. We come from different angles, aspects of life. Okay, so you save that amount of money that you get concurrently for 30 days at least. Okay, and so once you do that, put it aside. Let that be your emergency fund in case something happens, an accident, disease, something. That's your go-to money. It's your emergency fund. We're talking about for this month, what you'll do as of now you're watching this video. Okay. Number 4, ask one customer or your boss for 20% more pay. For example, I'm a baker. I need to be okay with asking for more. I deliver more. I should be okay asking for more. Okay. If you're employed, you need to be okay. You need to ask for a raise. What's the worst that can happen anyway? But imagine, put yourself out there. It can only happen when you do it. So push yourself. This month, ask your clients or your boss for a 20% raise. Okay? Or 20% increase. 20% more pay. And number 5, please start one small side hustle. It can be selling digital products. You can start selling fruits and vegetables or blended juice. You can start being a private chef on weekends. You can start baking cakes on weekends. You can be a decorator or there's literally so many things. You can start going to Gekomba and, posting a few things online or on TikTok, in the evenings, or selling beauty products. Yani, there's so much one can do. You're not limited. For some people, it depends. If back at home you guys are farmers, you can start selling roasted maize. Unatumana gunia inaletwa ya mahindi from Ushago. It comes, you sell fresh roasted maize or boiled maize. You've seen people selling domas and kwashes. You can do these things on weekends. Just make sure you start something small on the side, like a small side hustle. Okay? You do that, and there's no way you'll fall into these income traps. Okay? This life, you have to be smart about how you live. it's about the choices we make anyway at the end of the day. You make poor choices, bad choices. Most of the times, these bad choices is what we term as traps at the end of the day. Okay. So, decide. You decide if you're going to remove yourself from these traps. I've given you some solutions, or it's still a decision if you want to continue with that cycle. At the end of the day, most of us are grown-ups, and as long as you're a grown-up, we can't force you to do anything. But if you're a young person, I'd really love if you adhere to my advice so that you don't repeat mistakes other people have made, so that you become a better person at the end of the day. We need better people out here. Negativity thrives, but as I always say, it's because of the algorithm. But you don't have to join the majority. Always find a way to separate yourself from the crowd. Okay? Find a way to just stand out. If everyone is taking up a loan for luxury lifestyle, if people are taking expensive debt just to look like they've made it, or to look like they're rich in life and they've not, don't do that. Don't do that. And trust me, when it comes to laughing, you'll be the one who's going to be laughing the loudest, because you don't have weight of expensive debt and Shylocks and people calling you, asking you when you're going to pay back their money. You're safer, you're more freer. Okay? I've seen people being afraid of this. I don't want to do farming, it looks like mini mshamba. My friend, hakunanga pesa safi na pesa chafu. At the end of the day, you do farming, you go shower, unangara, you dress nicely, you go out, you meet with those people who wear suits. Why? And they will not tell you, the people who are serving you nyama choma and drinks, they will not tell you that, no, we can't serve you because your money is dirty, is from the farm. No! Okay? So do right by yourself. Do whatever it is that, do whatever it takes to free yourself from these income traps. You'll be more lighter, you'll be more happier. And that's what we want. That's what I want for you. Sawa. Hiyo maneno ingine wachana nayo. Okay? Stop putting all your eggs in one basket. Okay? Stop limiting yourself to one company or one institution. Always look for greener pastures. Sawa. And above everything, believe in yourself. Believe you can do a lot. Believe you can achieve a lot. Don't cap yourself. Okay? Do not do that. You are more than even what you think you are. You're capable of doing so many things. You're capable of doing great things, but only if you allow yourself to think of yourself like that. You have to think of yourself highly. Sawa. Yeah. So, believe in yourself. Believe you can do it. Believe you can get out of these income traps. Okay. And if you have a problem I might not have mentioned, talk to me about it. Reach out on the comment section and I'll respond whenever I have a minute. I'm sure we'll figure something out. In the meantime, I'm Miss Muithathi, and I'll see you in my next video. Cheers.